I got a like Urban Dictionary shit now. I'm like, what the is this kid saying? I don't need to get stronger. I just need to be better at physics. And we'll just put a big Mariel of me right here in memoriam. He can see it now.
Why it's important to stay humble, going through everything I have been through, is knowing that we're only one injury away from it all being over.
Like I've been doing beet juice in the morning. It's like pressed fresh beets.
Good for hemoglobin.
It's good for hemoglobin. And it's also, I'm trying to get my blood pressure to come down. I want to get off of these meds. That makes it extremely tough to train. Your body likes habits, like it's a machine. You got to train it to sleep. You got to train it to eat. Like you can shrink your stomach, you can expand your stomach. About how much fluid and food you're eating. So if you're waking up every day and shoving coffee down your throat, like you create a habit. Your body now craves that, and when you don't have it, you feel groggy. But if you break that cycle, go like a week without it, you'll find you don't need it. Wake up, splash some cold water on your face, you're good to go. Dude, I got a like Urban Dictionary shit now. I'm like, what the fuck is this kid saying? I need Google glasses that like translates what kids are saying. And then the option to like show me what the meaning is in this context. Sarcasm detected. Sarcasm detected.
He's not actually being nice to you.
Like, this kid's talking shit. Look, these old school Hampton deep dishes, they look like the same size as the hundreds. It's the old Barbell Brigade videos, that's all they had. You could only fit 7 of them on a bar. They had 100-pound plates though, so you had to use them. But we get so many views. It's like a white gym with just these huge plates and these big dudes just maxing out the bars. Like, how much weight is that? Because then you get more flex. That used to be a trick of the trade. These guys would throw like 45s to warm up, then they put the 100s on the outside, and the 100s are slightly thicker, so it would make it sit up a little higher. You know, every inch counts, fellas. And it would be at the end, so they'd create all this, especially the sumo pullers, like get a little bit higher before the bar would even break ground. And then you add in straps, so they're like out there monkey gripping it. And so now you got another 3 inches. You just added 6 inches to your height of your waist before you're breaking ground. They're doing minimum work out there. It's not even technique, manipulation. They just study physics. If I create a big enough arch and wide enough arms to where it looks like everything's gonna snap the moment I unrack it, all I gotta do is get it down a ½ inch.
The goal is flexibility, not strength.
But I think they're calling it by elbow crease now, right? Like you have to like at least break 90 degrees. I don't know. I leave those conversations for people that are actively a part of that community. I'll be right here using my bear squat. Yeah, dude. But that's what I'm saying. Like manipulating your physique is not tough. Like guys that say it's tough, it's because they're not dedicated to it. And like I'm not like genetics play a role. There are guys that are dedicated, but like you have genetic limits. Some guys aren't going to be breaking 220 naturally. It's just not going to happen to certain people. You know, depending on your height, your genetic structure. Like me, I'm naturally probably like closer to 220. And if I don't eat and don't train and don't push calories, I'll get back down there pretty easily. It happened pretty fast, actually. I went from 260 to 232 in 3 months. Some of that's catabolic drugs, like the anti-rejection meds that had me on and the prednisone. And some of that was lowering my calorie intake to 50 grams of protein a day and only eating twice a day. So my calories were minimum. and my activity was minimum, but I shriveled up, and my body was eating muscle first, and prednisone actually spikes your glucose levels at a resting rate, so you put on adipose tissue fat, especially in the face. That's why it was all puffy, and around the gut. So that's a challenge. Having a good time working that one out. I feel like I look like that creature from Pan's Labyrinth that has his eyes in his hands. But, you know, we all have our fucking problems. Like, everybody, I think, that trains intensely, like, we all deal with a little bit of body dysmorphia. And the guys like, oh, you know, like, you're still big and you're still, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I get it. To like, I'm happy to be able to be training. I'm happy that I get an opportunity to work my way back. But I was never happy. T was in town last weekend, and we had an opportunity to talk about this, and he was like, oh, you know, he did 29.99. He was like 0.01 kilograms away from breaking 2100, and like he could have pulled more, could have been, and I'm like, he's like, then I would have had 2100. And I'm like, T, was there a number that would have made you happy? And he kind of paused for a second. He's like, no. Like, there's never a number that's gonna get you. You'll never be big enough. You'll never be lean enough. You'll never be strong enough. You just gotta learn to live with that. Like, enjoy the process, enjoy the training, because that's the lifestyle, right? The competitions, you have some good ones, you'll have some bad ones. You gotta learn to shake those off too. But those highlighted moments, like, you'll remember them and cherish them, but the day in, the day out, it's not glamorous. Should be way higher than that. But you're on these beta blockers, so you're pushing your body harder than won't allow your heart to pump the blood fast enough. So you end up getting like super lightheaded. It feels like you can't breathe. But I'm used to it. It's been going on for 6 years. When it first started happening, I was like, call an ambulance. We gotta get out of here. It's the big one. But, you know, you hit that sense of panic, 2 minutes, the blood catches up. But I'm trying to switch medications. That's why I'm doing the beet juice. And doing cardio 3 days a week now, steady state, working on my heart health, and then just going on walks. So I increased my activity level and still put on 10 pounds. Without messing around with anything else, guys. Don't accuse me of jumping on cycles, because that's not happening. Clearly, as the guy is asking me, you look smaller. Because I am. But interesting enough, I really thought losing the weight, lowering my calories, protein was at like 50 grams a day. I was still drinking 5 liters of water. No effect on my kidney. Not only that, like, my blood pressure didn't get any better. So I was like, fuck this. If I'm gonna be unhealthy, I might as well be jacked too. Bare minimum. It's like, that's what most of life sucks, you know? Like, you get these little moments of like being comfortable and moments of like bliss. But like, the day-to-day of life fucking sucks. And if you don't feel that way about your life, like, I'm happy for you, but that's not the reality for most of us.
What's up, gentlemen?
What up, dude? Getting into the philosophies of life over here.
Oh, really? Best time to do it, too.
Yeah.
On the leg press?
I almost died on the spare squat, so
Really?
my whole life flashed before my eyes.
Nice. That's a
It was miserable.
miserable.
The moments flashing before my eyes, not the actual dying part. I was kind of looking forward to that.
Oh, man, you can't say that. That's crazy talk.
Don't worry, the gym will stay open. We have plans. And then we'll just put a big mural of me right here in memoriam. He can see. He can see it now. He's like, yeah.
He's like, oh, that's why Steve
Yeah.
really earned up this wall.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense now.
So I remember making a video on this, and I had like the same Air Force ones, but the original IBC ones, if you guys remember those, it was like the white, blue, and yellow ones. And somebody was like, "Why are you wearing such ridiculously big shoes?" I'm like, did you think I went out and bought shoes like 3 sizes too big for me, custom made? Like, no. This, first off, this is just a fucking small ass leg sled. Secondly, I'm 6'3", I got big feet. And the tiny ankles is not helping me, okay? Not another fucking word. I'm not, you know who gets more free shit than anybody? Rich people. It's like, oh, we'd like to offer you this. I'm like, where the fuck is this help for the people that need it?
Take the barbell, the little bar segments.
You need a 15-foot platform just to walk the bar out. Dude, imagine that thing start helicoptering on you. Watch their knees snapping on. Application of a percentage to your 1 rep max versus the perceived exertion. So how much you have on that particular day, because just because your max is 804 doesn't mean you're always capable of pulling or squatting or benching that number. So you go off R.P.E, what are you capable of that day? Well, I might have been able to do 10 reps, but I stopped at 7 because it was R.P.E 7. So set, like another way to think about it is like 10 would be 100%, and then just apply the R.P.E percentage wise. So it's R.P.E 7, 70%. But the biggest difference is like when you're given a percentage, generally that number is prescribed. And what I like to do is windows. So if I prescribe like 72% and that number comes back 542, then I'll give them like 535 to 545 and like give them like a 10 or sometimes even 20-pound jump depending on the lifter. So somewhere in there. So you got 4x8 with this prescribed weight. You could go from here to here. R.P.E just means now you got to guess what that number is rather than staying in that window. Some coaches are like, fuck you, you're hitting this number for all sets. I've never really believed in that. Because I've worked with coaches that way and it never works well. Because then you get lifters, oh, there's Jose. There he goes. There he goes. Always.